A young boy walks the cold streets of Kansas City at 4 a.m., his hands numb, a stack of newspapers slung over his shoulder. His name? Walt Disney. Before he would bring joy to the world, he delivered papers in the dark, long before he ever drew a mouse. Born on December 5th, 1901, in Chicago, Walt grew up with 4 siblings, under the strict discipline of their father, Elias. The family moved frequently, from Chicago to a farm in Missouri, and eventually to Kansas City. Life wasn't gentle, his childhood wasn't colorful, but young Walt found something magical: imagination. He loved to sketch animals, buildings, machines, anything he could see or imagine. His father didn't believe in it, but Walt did. In the family garage, he drew for hours, built miniature sets, filmed makeshift animations with borrowed cameras. That tiny garage, it was his first studio. At just 13, Walt landed a summer job at Hewlett-Packard. He wasn't even out of school, yet he stood among engineers. He didn't talk much, but he observed everything. That's what Walt did. He watched the world, then rebuilt it in ink, ink, and story. In high school, he crossed paths with a tech genius named Steve Wozniak. Wait, not yet. That's another story. This one involves Walt meeting Ub Iwerks, a quiet, brilliant artist who would become his lifelong creative partner. They clicked instantly, like pen and paper. Walt wasn't much for school. He dropped out of high school and briefly attended night classes at the Chicago Art Institute. In 1918, he forged his birth certificate to join the Red Cross Ambulance Corps in World War I. He never made it to the front lines, but spent months in France driving ambulances, which he painted with cartoon characters. After the war, Walt returned to Kansas City and tried to break into the animation business. He landed a low-paying job and created short cartoons for advertising. Then he scraped together $15 and started his own studio, Laugh-O-Gram Films. It failed. He was broke, slept in the office, ate beans from the can. When things couldn't get worse, they did. The company folded. With only $40 in a suitcase, Walt boarded a train to Los Angeles, chasing one last dream. That train ride would change the world. In LA, Walt teamed up with his brother Roy. They started another studio, this time out of their uncle's garage. Together, they created Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, an early hit character. But the rights? Not Walt's. A greedy distributor stole Oswald and most of his team. Again, he had nothing. Walt was crushed. He almost gave up. But on the train ride home, inspiration struck again, this time in the form of a mouse. Mickey Mouse was born, sketched on a napkin with big round ears and even bigger dreams. But it wasn't just the character. Walt added synchronized sound. A first. Steamboat Willie premiered in 1928, and it blew the roof off Hollywood. Mickey became a global icon. Kids everywhere wore mouse ears. Walt Disney was no longer a name. It was a brand. But Walt didn't slow down. In 1934, he took his biggest risk yet, a full-length animated film. Everyone laughed. No one will watch a cartoon for 90 minutes, they said. Even his wife called it Disney's folly. It took 4 years and nearly bankrupted the studio. But in 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premiered. People wept in theaters. The film made over $8 million, a fortune at the time. And Disney became unstoppable. Over the next decade, he released Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi. Each one pushed animation further. But not all of them made money. World War II drained the studio. Animators went on strike. Morale dropped. Walt fell into depression. So he dreamed bigger. He envisioned a place, part carnival, part movie set, where families could escape into fantasy. Everyone thought it was crazy. But in 1955, Disneyland opened its gates. Opening day was a disaster. Traffic jams, broken rides, counterfeit tickets, no water fountains. but Walt smiled through it all. "It'll be better tomorrow," he said. And it was. Disneyland became a phenomenon. Lines wrapped around the block. Parents cried. Children believed. Walt had done the impossible. Again. He didn't stop. He created live-action films like Mary Poppins, launched the Mickey Mouse Club, and broke into television, dominating ABC's prime time. Everything he touched turned to wonder, but even Walt couldn't control time. In 1966, doctors told him he had lung cancer. He hid it from most, continued working, drawing, dreaming, building his final masterpiece, a futuristic city called Epcot. On December 15th, 1966, Walt Disney passed away. He was 65. He left behind a studio, a theme park, an empire, and an unfinished map of dreams. His net worth was around $7 billion, but what he built? Priceless. Today, Disney is more than movies. It's a legacy. It's a feeling. It's generations of kids believing in magic. Walt wasn't born rich. He wasn't born lucky. He failed. He was betrayed. He was broke. Twice. But he never gave up. He never stopped believing that imagination could build empires. He once said, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." He did. And because he did, so can we. This is Driven Era. Subscribe for more stories that spark action. Your story is just beginning.